Hi. So I got my Makoto lightsaber like about a month and a half ago now, and I told you because I posted that really quick review just as soon as I'd open it up. I said I was going to post something a little bit more comprehensive. Well, I've got a few new updates now, so I'm gonna go ahead and post those now. So here's the lightsaber hilt, same as before. You know, like the same like from the previous video. Pretty much I figured out what the buttons do now, which is kind of nice. So, like I said, still really bright. I've taken it out dueling a couple times with my friends and everything, and it's held up really well. No dents. I mean, there's a couple of nicks in the blade now, but you know, there's no dim spots or anything like that. None of the LEDs have gone out. And I figured out what these buttons do. So, if you hold the button down, that's the lightsaber flash. And if you double click it, it creates the cutting the iron door effect. For that, you can tell the strobing that goes away all together. So that's pretty much kind of all the updates for this. So now I have this. These two hilts are pretty much identical in almost every way. The only big difference, this has two buttons and this has a knob on it. So those are kind of, they're identical because they're supposed to do this. They're identical, so now I have, ta-da, a lightsaber staff. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this is and everything. It's pretty great. The only problem I have is the sound for both of you, because like I said, they're completely identical. There's no resonating chamber for the sound or anything like that. So the big problem I keep running into, or not I keep running into rather, but that I've noticed so far, there's nowhere for the sound to go. There's no holes or anything for the speakers to let the sound out. So you can still hear it. It's just muffled now. But it's the lightsaber staff, which I'm pretty pleased about. So, yeah. One thing that's a little bit surprising to me, and I'll explain why in a minute, is that it's totally balanced. Like, I'm about to balance it here. Like, yeah. It's balanced between the two. And normally you'd say, well, it's a lightsaber staff. It's supposed to be balanced, right? I'm going to go into why I'm a little surprised in just a minute here. Because this one's got a little bit more stuff on it that the other one doesn't. So like I said, this is the new one. The big difference is there's two buttons here now. I'll go into what those do. And there's this knob here. This one has different sound cards. So the top button does the exact same things that the bottom button did on the first hilt. The bottom button does a couple other little extra things now. So pretty much what it does is there's three different sound options you can have for this. So this is the Sith sound. It sounds almost identical to the first one, but there's a little bit of a so you can hear a little bit of the bass reverb. It's a different power up and power down sound, so it's a little bit more crisp on the power up. And same thing with the power down and the power up. It's a little bit crisper sound. There's sort of deeper resonance to everything. You know, it's supposed to be the Sith sound as opposed to the Jedi sound. You change it again. Now it's the Gundam sounds. So that's a totally different thing altogether. So powering the Gundam down, and then to power the Gundam one back up. Yeah, so that's... I've never really followed Gundam. I collected the toys for a little bit, and I built the models. And I know that some of them had like kind of laser swords and whatever. So you know, I can understand why if you're making a Gundam costume, you're doing that sort of thing, you'd want a replica for that. But otherwise, it's not anything I think I'm going to be using a lot. And then you change it again. It's back to the Jedi sounds of the other one. The reason I kind of want a different sound card is for this. Now this is what this big knob does. And it's kind of obnoxiously large, I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty big knob on here, but thankfully it's not where the grip for the saber is, it's just above it. So hopefully it doesn't get too much in the way, we'll see. But what the knob does is this. Yeah, it's a color changing saber. So you've got 4 different colors. You have the purple, blue, green, and red. And I'm astonished with all 4 of them because normally, like the color change sabers are a little. I've seen some from Ultra Sabers and the colors, they're just not as vibrant as the ones if you get the single color ones. Whereas this, it's they're all really, really bright. I mean, the green one I think is the brightest. It certainly is the brightest one showing up on the camera, but all 4 of these are pretty amazing. I kind of wanted it for a couple different reasons. One of them is that I do different cosplay stuff. I have a Jedi costume that I do with Rebel Legion, like this, or this, or this. And I have a Sith costume that I do with the 501st. Like this. So I wanted to have a different lightsaber use for each one of those. I'm just really happy with how these turn out. The only thing, the purple is a little bit more on the red than the blue side, but it's still very obviously purple. It's not like, oh, I'm going to mistake this for pink or something. It's very obviously purple. You know, I really like how this turned out and everything. Really happy with it. Like the only gripe that like I said that I had, 1, this knob is really kind of big, and 2, like I said, when you put the staffs together, the sound, there's no vents or anything. I guess that wouldn't be too hard to fix maybe, but for the time being, there's no vents for the sound, so that's a little bit frustrating. But other than that, I'm just really happy with how this turned out. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, stay tuned.